It's the Sittin Sportside podcast, exclusively on 1045theteam.com.
It is the Sittin Sportside podcast right here on 1045theteam.com. I'm Eric Hanneman along with, who is it? Mike James! I think you broke my headphones there for a second.
I'm a little upset that I didn't win a Ghazi today, by the way.
Yes, this is the first podcast and performance of anyone else on 1045theteam.com, anywhere after the Ghazis. And the post-Ghazis party wasn't as bumping as I wanted it to be. But
this
here we
is
are.
The post-Ghazis party.
True. It very much is. Yeah, well, we both got snubbed, but at least you got acceptance speech that was dedicated to you. I thought Taylor did a beautiful job. And let's be honest, you didn't do a Yankee game. It was the Brian Mariano Memorial. I mean, once again, still like...
I think Closer's alive.
He's alive.
Last time I checked.
It's a great point by Levac, but it was funny. It was a Yankee producer award, so...
He's not a Yankee producer anymore, so I guess I kind of see it. You know what I mean?
Yes, true. There you go. But I got a nice shout out. You know, they said that if the award was around in 2016, 2017, I would have won, which I probably would have. I mean, I was here when the Cubs won the World Series and went to extra innings and then a rain delay. And I also was here not too long ago to look up the year when the Cubs and the Yankees went into, I think it was last year, 2018. Maybe it was 2017. Probably
17.
It was 17. So I would have won in 17. So yeah, I got snubbed for 2 years, but here we are, the awards in 2019. Fine. For 2018.
I got an idea.
But you know what? Fine. I'm okay with it.
Let's give away...
Because Taylor deserved it.
Let's do the Sittin Sportside Awards.
Stop with... Well, this is the award... Well, this is the podcast we're doing, this one, which I teased in the podcast about fantasy baseball, which you can find on youtube.com/team1045, where I go through every single position. So far, I haven't done third outfield or any pitchers, but we want some people to sign. What am I smelling, Mike James?
Baseball season.
Yes. We've been smelling that for a while. But I promised these podcasts, and we're... What?
Spring training games officially started.
Yes, I know.
What do you mean?
I know.
It's almost that time.
It is that time. It's basically that time, Mike.
I know. Sorry, I'm a little excited.
We promised these podcasts, and at the time, the big news was Manny Machado signing. I still think it's the big news, but we're going to go through a slew of things, of course, as we always do. You can't wait, though. We're going to have the Mike James preview podcast. Do you know about that?
No, I don't. What's that?
So closer to the season, after I do my normal fantasy previews and normal division previews, we're going to have me and you sit together, and it's mainly going to be your podcast, which, of course, I'm going to co-host, but we're going to mainly get your predictions on it. So we have the most extensive preseason coverage of MLB, I think, in the Capital Region for sure.
Ballsy predictions for this year.
The Capital Region for sure, best preseason coverage. Maybe even the entire United States of America. We have the best. I would go toe-to-toe with anybody to look at the Sittin Sportside podcast YouTube playlist and tell me when it's all said and done, there's a better preseason area to look at, to listen to MLB opinions.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't wait.
And of course, you can tweet at Eric H1045, at Mike James 1045,
and Sportside tweets.
At Sportside tweets. If you have any questions for MLB season in general, but specifically for me, at Eric H1045, fantasy baseball questions. I love to answer those. Mike, Manny Machado. We joked about this at the start. I was joking, but you were kind of serious. You joked about it, that you said this?
I almost can distinctly remember as soon as the Padre said, "Oh, we're interested in Manny Machado," I definitely think I remember saying, "I watch him go to San Diego."
So it was one of those offhand comments.
No way.
I don't think I said no way.
You did. You're like, there's no way. And I was like, watch. I said, he's going to go to San Diego. I will say I said it jokingly because I didn't think it was actually going to happen.
The good news is we have some tape. I'm not going to go back to listen to it because you're just going back to listen to it to make me look bad. I don't think I said no way. I think I said no way.
I think you called me crazy.
I don't think it was me. Yeah. Was it the podcast Taylor was on?
No.
I don't think it was me.
It was you.
I don't think so.
It's mainly me and you.
Anyway. It is, and I don't remember ever. You know who is crazy to think that? You know what is crazy though to think about is what you told me in the show prep. Oh, I think Bryce Harper's going there.
I think he will. What?
Get out.
What?
Get out of here.
What?
That'd be yeah. I should probably pull up some more drops. That's insane. I'll tell you right now, if it does happen, the Padres have put themselves in the biggest hole. I get they have some decent pitching prospects, but that hole is incredible. You think you still think the Yankees need another starting pitcher.
Oh my God.
The Padres have Joey Lucchesi as their ace right now. You don't even know who that
I
is.
was going to say, who? Joey Lucchese? Who? Is that even English?
Yeah.
Is he American?
Yeah, Chris was joking on Big Board Sports when I was on with him recently about how everyone else that sounds like a New Jersey mob boss.
Yeah. I mean, all right, here's my thing. All right. If they've somehow managed to sign Harper.
But just think about the hole that they're putting themselves in without signing any pitching with the contract of Machado, Hosmer, and Will Myers, in addition to has to be a record-breaking contract of Bryce Harper. It's insane, and they cannot sustain and compete with that division.
Harper wants to play with Manny, though. I think that's why he hasn't signed.
The good news is, and I'll let you get a word in here in a second. The good news is that division is one of the worst in the National League because the Central and the West Central and the East are the two best divisions easily. With the exception of the Marlins, all 9 of those teams have a chance to make the playoffs. 9 out of those 10, excluding the Marlins. So that's the good news about the Padres and what they have right now. But you still have no pitching. So if you're throwing $300 million out there, why are you not bringing in Keuchel and Gio Gonzalez if you're trying to do it right now and improve your pitching for this season and for the next few years? I'll let you say your piece for whatever you're going to say.
I was literally, you took the words right out of my mouth. I said, I was going to say, watch Harper want to play with Machado. That's why he secretly hasn't signed yet. And there's a rumor floating around that he was waiting on the Padres to see if they were going to make him an offer, right? And I think they're going to go, all right, we got them. Dallas Keuchel, come to San Diego. Gio Gonzalez, come to San Diego.
How much money do they have?
Where did they pull $300 million out of their rear end to sign Machado?
But just think about what you're saying here. Think about what you're saying. I know it could be in the short term for those the latter two, but think what you're saying. They're going to dish out, and I'm going to look up, I totally forgot the number on what Hosmer was, but it was a good number on Hosmer. And they're paying Will Myers a decent salary, too. In addition to $300 million for Manny Machado, they're going to pay what probably will be $325 million for Bryce Harper. It's going to break that. It's going to be $326 million for Bryce Harper because he's going to break Giancarlo Stanton. In addition to that, you're going to sign Keuchel, who's going to want $25 million probably.
Gave Hosmer 8 years, $144.
I'm telling you, where are they going to get more money in addition to the Bryce Harper $300 million to get Keuchel or Gio Gonzalez? It's just not going to happen.
I think secretly the Steinbrenners bought the Padres, and so they're going to like.
Here's the best bet.
Conspiracy theory.
I'm going to give your I'm going to give your thought some credence here a little bit. Think about what bear with me for a second here. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to, if they sign Bryce Harper, what they'll do is they're going to have to trade their future, so to speak, because they're the number one farm system in baseball. Not unanimous, but one of the top ones for sure. Definitely top 3 among everybody, I think. Keith Law, ESPN, says it's number one farm system. So what they would have to do, in my opinion, is trade Fernando Tatis Jr. for, say, somebody like, I don't know how much money Trevor Bauer's making right now, but someone like that. Someone like Trevor Bauer, who's before arbitration. Someone like, Noah Syndergaard's not going to pay that much in arbitration. Like a lower salary. Like, or DeGrom, but I think DeGrom actually got like a decent 1-year deal. I think he won the highest arbitration salary victory of all time, something like that. Actually, that was Nolan Arenado, but DeGrom got a healthy chunk too. My point is, they're going to have to trade people in their organization instead of signing somebody if they sign Harper, in my opinion. I just don't know, because if you trade for Corey Kluber, he's still making a decent chunk too. Yep. So I just don't know where that money is going to go. I guess they're going to be paying a huge luxury tax. Huge.
Yeah. I think it's...
That's a good point. Where are the Padres getting the money?
I think the Steinbrenners secretly own the Padres and just not telling anybody. That's why they're not spending money on the Yankees. Oh, we can't spend money on the Yankees because we own the Padres and we just signed Machado and I don't know. I think it's far fetched that Harper's going to go there, but I think there's a slim chance. You know what I mean?
Yep. A- name that got just recently signed. Only a 2-year deal for Marwin Gonzalez, the Ben Zobrist utility-type player, formerly of the Houston Astros, can play all over the field, including all 4 infield positions, third, short, second, first, and the outfield. He signs a 2-year deal with the Twins, who really has a legitimate chance of winning that division, because I don't think the Indians are head and shoulder.
Worst division in baseball. Mm-hmm. Is it not?
100%. That's why if Manny went there, you can think about the Manny Machado, making that team a playoff team.
Yeah.
Because they could compete with the Indians are going to be without Lindor for probably the first 2 to 3 weeks. Not that's going to hinder them that much.
As much as I hate the Indians,
they had the leg up on everybody in that division, but it's open.
I love watching Frankie Lindor.
Oh, 100%.
You know how there's those players? Like,
I love both those guys. Jose Ramirez too. I love him a lot too.
Like as much as I hate the Red Sox, like I enjoy watching Bogarts play because he does everything right. You know what I mean?
I'm not as with you with Bogarts.
No, but you know what I mean though. Like there's certain people that no matter what team they play for, you just enjoy watching because they just do everything right.
I'm just saying Bogarts doesn't personally do it for me.
Mookie, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean though? Like they kind of.
I think it's harder for me with the Red Sox.
Oh, I mean deep down, I hate them all to death. Like Big Papi, I hated Big Papi as a Red Sox, but as a player, overall, I
fantasy
liked him.
baseball scout Eric Hanneman was like, "Yo, this Mookie kid's good. I like this Mookie kid." He comes up, same type of thing. MVP Mookie, World Series championship Mookie, not my cup of tea. Don't like it at all. At least with the Indians, they're the number one rival. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Lindor's smile is infectious. Jose Ramirez is just
wouldn't
an animal.
Mookie be if he wasn't a Red? Take him off the Red Sox.
Bogarts, Betts,
take Betts, Bogarts off the Red Sox. Wouldn't you like him a lot more?
And there's no ties to the Red Sox. They never play their game for the Red Sox.
They never played for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I probably like them both more than I do with just that B on their hit. You know, yeah, 100%. Same thing goes probably for Red Sox fans and Yankee players.
Yeah,
100%. That's just how it is. But yeah, I agree with you with Lindor. But back to what I'm saying is the Twins have made some decent deals, like low-key deals. They bring in, who do they bring in? They brought in Jonathan Scope. Seems to be all infielders, but Jonathan Scope.
Can we talk about Scope for a second? How the hell is his last name pronounced Scope? It's definitely Scoop or Shoop.
Shoop.
How the hell is his last name Scope?
Have you ever looked at the Winnipeg Jets defenseman?
You're talking to a black guy. I don't watch hockey.
Okay, so he's Norwegian, I believe. But his name is Dustin, and his last name is spelled Byfuglien. And I was totally guilty.
Wait, hold on. Can you spell that one more time?
Byfuglien.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. Do you want me to Google it so you can see it?
Hold on. I want to look this up.
You want to look it up? I want you to try this live on air because I'll say this: I was a guilty party of this whenever he's been around actually a long time, but
spell it one more time.
A few years ago. Dustin is his first name.
Dustin. I put it in Justin. Okay,
Dustin.
Go ahead.
Winnipeg Jets. Byfuglien.
I got it.
Lien. How do you pronounce that name? Some things just don't make sense. I know he's Norwegian, but some things just don't make sense. Byfuglien or something like that, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. It's Dustin Byfuglien. That's how it's pronounced.
Can we just call
some things just don't make
Dustin
sense, Mike.
Ugly? And he's black.
He is.
What the hell?
He is. But some things just don't make sense, Mike, okay?
He's not even Norwegian, bro.
What is he?
He's American.
Oh, but the name's of Norwegian descent.
Yes, his mother is of Norwegian and Swedish descent, and his father is African American. But he's technically American. Mm-hmm. He's born in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You think in Norwegian it's like pronounced differently, and we just Americanized as Byfuglien?
It's funny. I'm looking at him going, that's not the way it's what I think it is. And you're like, what? I would have never got Byfuglien.
No, I wouldn't have either if I didn't watch a little hockey here and there.
Like if it was I don't know, like maybe I can't even make that even make sense to be Byfuglien. I don't know. That Scope still bothers me. How is Shoop Scope?
Shoop. Yeah. Anyway, back to baseball. But actually, we didn't do this about the Padres move, but we'll get back to it in a second. The Twins. Now with Marwin Gonzalez, I think they moved themselves in a better position. I think all around. They signed Nelson Cruz too, which was a big signing. They have breakout candidates in the outfield in Byron Buxton and Max Kepler. And then you add the rotation. Pineda's healthy now, so we'll see what happens in that rotation. So I think they ultimately have a chance in the worst division, as we said in all baseball. Let's go a little bit back to Manny Machado in San Diego for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you match them up, stack them up? Pre-Manny, now with Manny, where did you have the Dodgers games ahead of them? So like before they signed Manny, I would have said that the Dodgers are 20 games better. Now that
15, maybe.
So it only gives you 5. So this isn't a Padres
18.
team. No more moves. They can still bring in people, of course, but at this moment, February 22nd, where they only brought in Manny Machado, Do you think, where do you see this team, and do you see them as a playoff contender?
No, not this year.
The problem is the Dodgers are basically, they only have a chance of winning the West, I think. Because as the aforementioned earlier in the podcast, I think the two wildcard teams are coming from one from the East, one from the Central, both from the Central, both from the East. I don't think, and I could be completely off base here and be eating my words in October and late September, but I don't think two playoff teams are coming out of the West. That's just me.
I don't think so either. But
I digress. I do think that this move makes sense for the Padres in the sense of, look, they're ready to go. The number one farm system. You add Manny Machado to that. That's what I was going for with the White Sox. That was my prediction for the longest time. So it makes sense in that way. But the pitchers, Adrian Marion, the guy they got from the Padres, I believe for Kimbrel. Do you remember what's his name? I'll get back to that one. But there's
Solarte? No.
There was Paul Quantrill. Do you remember Paul Quantrill?
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
but yes, I remember
his son is a top pitching prospect. I believe it's Cal Quantrill for the Padres. So he'll be in that mix too. There's one other name that I'm missing, and it's totally gonna bite at me. But you can look up the top prospects on some website out there and just see the pitchers. Like they have some that are coming up. They're on the way up. Problem is, for the short term, I just don't know if they're gonna have the pitching to do it. And that's where it comes into it. But I think this is the right move for the Padres. Anything left to say on the conclusion of Manny Machado's adventure of the 2018-19 offseason?
I still can't believe he actually went to the Padres, and I think Chicago needs to get over the fact that he didn't come there. Yeah, they did everything they possibly could, but they didn't want to pay him. So you missed out. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I just say before we end this really quick that I'm happy as all hell that Machado didn't go to Philly, and I hope Bryce doesn't go to Philly either. The hell with the Phillies. The hell with the city of Philadelphia. Sorry, Bryce, if you hear this. I don't care.
So let's clarify. You're talking about you don't want Bryce Harper to go there either, and you're apologizing to a fellow producer, Bryce Zielinski.
Yes.
And what do you say to that? Sorry, not sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, Eric, did you hear something?
That's actually a good idea to talk about that unless you really want to move on.
I want to talk some football.
We're not doing it on this podcast.
I was closing this podcast.
You're closing this podcast already?
No, you got more to talk? Let's go.
Man, Mike.
I had a good tease set up.
You had a great tease set up?
You killed it.
Well, quickly, I mean, do you really think the Pirates, do you really think the Phillies are gonna be able to get Bryce Harper?
Probably.
And if they don't, do you see this as a failed offseason? Because I think a lot of people, including myself, would say, I think the Phillies are going to see this as a failed offseason. I think them as a whole, in terms of their front office, will say, no, we did a lot to improve our team this year, trading for Gene Segura, bringing in David Robertson. But I would ultimately think that they would think this is a failed offseason if they didn't get one Manny Machado or Bryce Harper.
Can I just say what I really, really hope happens? That Hal Steinbrenner wasn't blowing smoke up our asses the other day, last week or whatever it was, when he's talking about, we might go after him. Will you just shut up and pay the man, for God's sakes, and let's put him in left field? Or something? Come on. Just pay him. Just pay him.
It'd be interesting, but you still have Clint Frazier still in Florida. Like, we're looking forward to those
I'm sorry.
guys.
I would much rather have Bryce Harper out there than Clint Frazier or freaking Brett Gardner, who's 100 years old.
No
and shouldn't
one's
be playing
making that argument,
anymore.
but they're still paying. They throw on the hook for Giancarlo Stanton. I don't think Stanton's probably opting out of a deal like that, especially if he doesn't hit 50 home runs again. You're going to have to pay Judge at some point. So they're being very conservative with their money because they know they can get guys like Clint Frazier. Think about this. You're going to be paying Clint Frazier $600,000 compared to $30 million you're paying Bryce Harper. I'm just saying.
Clint Frazier's going to get hurt week 1. He might get hurt in the first game of the year. I don't trust him. I'm sorry. I would rather spend
That's why
the
you
money.
have insurance with Brett Gardner.
What insurance? The guy's 100 years old and can't run anymore. What insurance? What
I think
insurance?
he's your fourth outfielder in that scenario.
Okay. And they
That's
got Jacoby
that's
Ellsbury.
insurance.
Not forget Jacoby Ellsbury. Oh, wait.
Exactly.
Sorry. He still hasn't showed up to spring training because he's hurt.
You have that as an insurance, though, Brett.
And they tore him off the wall. So is his
you don't have any
career
faith.
over?
You don't have any faith that Gleyber Torres could play a little outfield because he played it in the minor leagues a little bit.
They better just call it they better call it Florial.
Do you think DJ LeMahieu could go out of the outfield? A
Yeah.
little bit?
Why not?
So what I'm saying is they probably have some options if Didi comes back. And that's an unfair assessment. The kid has barely played any major league games, and he had huge concussion problems. That's an unfair assessment of Clint Frazier.
No, it's not.
It's a completely unfair assessment of Clint Frazier.
No, it's not.
Completely. It's like saying, you know what it's like saying? It's like Alex Reyes. It's like saying that there's no chance he pitches more than 20 games this year because he's had Tommy John once in the past, and last year he didn't pitch. It's like saying one kid who had Tommy John surgery when he was in minor league baseball, oh, we can't rely on him because he's not going to be able to pitch more than 5 games because he's going to need another Tommy John. It's just unfair to say that about Clint Frazier, I think.
Whatever. I don't like him.
It was a concussion. He had wrist. I think
town.
he had a wrist. You don't like Clint Frazier?
Kick him out of town.
Kick you off this podcast.
You can't kick me off
How do
this
you
podcast.
not like Clint Frazier?
I would rather have Bryce Harper. There's more pop in that bat than Clint Frazier.
You understand that in 3 years, we're going to need to pay Aaron Judge. Is it 3 or 4? I don't know.
I don't know. Just pay
But
him
if
now.
you're on the hook for 10 years on Bryce Harper's salary and Giancarlo Stanton's not opting out, Mike. He's not opting out. You still have 10 years left on that deal.
Eric.
How are you paying Aaron Judge that much money?
The Steinbrenners.
Gleyber Torres that much money. Didi's going to want tons of money.
Anybody that thinks the Steinbrenners don't have the money are stupid and out of their damn minds. They do. They're just too damn cheap to do it. Because if the old man was still alive, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado would be Yankee right now. There's no doubt about it.
There's still a luxury tax.
He would have sucked up and just paid it.
But it's still not something you would want to do. Think about that as if that's your money. If you can avoid using a luxury tax, if you can avoid paying a guy $30 million compared to $1 million at most from a minor league guy who has a ton of potential, a huge amount of potential, who's shown it in the major leagues.
Time when George was alive, he didn't give 2 shits about the damn luxury tax.
Look, you know I love George Steinbrenner more than anybody, but very much. I think he's a Hall of Famer, and I think he did wonders for the Yankees. But there wasn't always winning teams. There wasn't always. Dane Whitfield didn't come in and make it in the playoffs in the 80s. Just spending money willy-nilly did not always work out.
Yeah.
And when you're in this position with the Yankees, as much as I've criticized Cashman at times in the past,
he is literally
picking like Doug Mankiewicz and Andy Phillips over Bernie Williams in like 2006 or whatever it was.
That was terrible.
Terrible. Travesty to the Yankees. I don't like Cashman in a lot of ways.
Ever pick
But the philosophy that the Yankees have gone with the last 2 years, not only have they made the playoffs 2 straight seasons and had a 100-win season last year, they are just set up to do really good year after year after year. It's just doing a really good job. And if you really want to pay Bryce Harper that much money, go ahead and do it. But then you're stuck with having to pay a huge amount of luxury tax for a very long time once Aaron Judge hits free agency.
I'm just waiting for Cashman's next major screw up. It's coming sooner than later. It's coming because he always does something, at least one thing a year that makes you go, "Are you drunk? Are you stupid? Are you smoking some crack?"
You made me go on a rant.
Or should we end it with this and say,
well, I had some other stories to get to, but apparently we're not going to get there.
Go ahead. Get some more.
Well,
you
now
keep killing my good teas. I'll go back. I'll save this.
I forgot where I was even going with the Bryce Harper thing. Other than I don't know if it doesn't end up. I was going to say real quick on that last point. Let's wrap up the Bryce Harper thing. Got to give credit to the other Bryce Zielinski on Twitter. He's saying that Nationals have reportedly been out, which we've heard that they have reportedly been out. White Sox sound like they're not going to give it to him either. I think. And then what's the last team? I think is the Padres the last team. I think that he's basically counted them out because they already paid Machado. Like, I get that you can't count those guys out, but basically what Bryce was saying in one of the tweets I read today was there's really only one team that makes sense right now, and it's the Phillies. So if the Phillies are willing to give the $326+ million, then he's going to the Phillies because I think that's the one team that's there. If not, Scott Boras is going to have to get very creative to get his client.
Only on here. Just kidding. Buster, where's Bryce?
Buster's too busy for us. Before we get to your teas, speaking of the Yankees, they dropped their bats and gloves earlier this afternoon. We're recording this on Friday. I took a few rounds of hypnosis as part of their annual team building exercise. Did you see this?
I saw that.
They had Ricky Kamen, a mindset expert, motivational speaker. He conducted exercises with teams, players, coaches, the field staff, members of the front office, and the dugout club. What do you think about hypnosis?
Hey, whatever works, man. Whatever's going to win us the World Series.
This picture is crazy. See CC in this, J Happ, Brett Gardner, Judge, Aaron Hicks.
Can I just say this? I'm actually upset that CC's retiring.
We didn't have a swan song yet.
I know, but I'm just...
Do we have the song in here? Are we allowed to play it?
Who cares?
There's like a new song by Dua Lipa called Swan Song. I'm not sure it's even in here. Anyway, it's from the movie Alita. Speaking of a movie, Alita, we're not talking about that one, but we're going to have our first ever movie discussion podcast. I'm really excited about that.
Hey.
That'll probably be up by the time you listen to this, so get to that. Last but not least, real quick, pitch clock. Doing it for spring games, and I've heard it's not out of the question that it carries its way over to the major leagues. Do you think it's happening this year, and what is your thought on the 20-second pitch clock?
I think it should have been in last year. I said this before. Watching Ryan Yarborough for that one game. Oh
I think
God,
we did touch it.
brutal.
We did touch on this in that rules podcast we did a couple weeks ago. I still am not a fan of it. I just not a fan of it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how, because wasn't the NBA used to be, I don't know if it, but like they had no shot clock, so I guess they fundamentally changed the game by adding a shot clock. I get that. But in baseball, if a pitcher and catcher aren't on the same page, why do they have to throw a pitch? Now they have to throw a pitch. And then now, with the runner on third base, Game 7 of the World Series, 5, 4, no, I don't want to pitch that. 3, I guess I got to go. Oh, he throws the curveball, and he was expecting the fastball. It goes all the way back to the backstop. And look, the guy from third is going to score, and the Yankees win the World Series. I'd be happy.
That'd be great. Could that really happen?
But
save that, because we might need that in November.
If that actually happens.
Game
but think
7 of
about
the
that.
World Series.
Think about the losing team in that situation where there's a cross up because the pitch clock was counting down and they had to throw a pitch. Otherwise, it would have been, let's say, let's up the stakes even more. The bases were loaded. And so there was 3 balls. And if he lets the thing fall down to 0, it's a ball. They lose the game anyway.
It's stupid.
I'm just saying, I don't love that because of that. And I know people think you need a way to speed up these games. Otherwise, we're going to use the young generation. Well, guess what? Mark Teixeira and Buster Olney and whoever's saying these things.
Of the pitchers don't.
But guess
take
what?
That long.
I'm part of that young generation. I'm part of the young generation that didn't have the big attention span. And I love baseball, and I love the way it is. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing of you're going to lose it, you're going to lose the young people. I don't think you are. The people that aren't going to watch baseball aren't going to watch baseball.
If you're diehard
just speed
baseball,
it up by
you
a
don't
little.
care.
Exactly. You speed it up by 5 minutes, 10 minutes. How many more people are you going to get to watch?
Here's the difference.
I don't know.
To me, the difference is if you're watching it at home on your TV, it's totally different because it goes by so slow, and I will admit that. And sitting here in studio watching and doing the games, it goes by so slow. But when you're actually physically in the stadium,
True.
It flies.
That's fair.
Unless you're there for 15 innings and you're like, oh my God.
That's an interesting way to put it, though. If you're quickening games, here's something that they might not think of. You're diminishing the value of a ticket now.
See, that would piss me off if they actually enforce that for real. Because if I go to it don't make me not go to games.
You're diminishing value of a ticket.
Yeah.
Instead of going to use your 3-hour walk in the park and watching a baseball game and enjoying a hot dog and a beer, and you just want to lounge around there, you don't care if it goes 4 hours, kind of like how it flies by.
Yeah.
You're diminishing the value of a ticket because now the games are going to be 2.5 hours as opposed to when the money you paid for that ticket was 4 hours.
I just
3.5.
Going to Yankee Stadium to a 15-inning game and having to be to work at 5 o'clock the next morning, not fun.
But it's a memory you'll never forget.
Yes.
I had one more story, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it for another time because he's going to have a big impact, but probably not early on. That's Vlad Guerrero Jr.
So, what I've been trying to tease for the last 25 minutes.
I just teased something. Vlad Guerrero Jr., we're going to talk about him in a podcast.
Yeah.
Coming up on the Third Baseman podcast that I'm about to do at some point. That'll be up in the next week or so.
So, my complaints about Cashman
and now
doing stupid things.
Mike James for a nice transition to a tease.
So, my last complaint about Brian Cashman, maybe he's spending too much time in Florida at a certain place with this guy. Coming up next.
Unbelievable. Coming up next.
On the next episode of the Sittin Sportside podcast, we talk the NFL and a certain owner who is in trouble, I hear. Eric, is that true?
I did not have... Wait, what?
For Eric Hedman, I'm Mike James. Twitter, EricH1045. Mike James 1045 and Sportside tweets. Stay classy, Cap Region.